People love Cassie Davis, who has been in some of Tyler Perry's most famous shows. She just broke her silence. The entertainment business is completely shocked by what she said about Tyler Perry. She didn't say anything for years, but what she said now shows a truth that might change how we see one of Black Hollywood's biggest stars. You'll not believe what she told you. This story just turned everything on its head, so stay with us. There is one face that comes to mind right away when we think of Tyler Perry's world, with its movies, plays, and TV companies. Cassie Davis, who is famous for playing Aunt Bam with the sharp toenails. She has been in all of Perry's shows for more than 20 years. Fans have laughed and cried with her and been there for her when she's been sick. But they had never heard her side of the story before now. For years people talked about it. What was really going on between Tyler Perry and his castmates behind the scenes? For what reason did some artists suddenly stop working on projects and then come back years later with little to no explanation? And why did Cassie Davis, who fans love, is loyal, and is very skilled, fade from view at key times? Important times in Perry's rise. It looks like the silence is over now. Cassie Davis was honest in a private podcast chat that has since gone viral. Fans have never seen her be so open before. Her words were honest, sad, and totally out of the blue. She talked about how close she was to Tyler Perry, what really happened during the tough years of their work relationship, and how hard it was on her to keep quiet while everyone else only saw one side. But she said, "It makes people question everything they thought they knew about Tyler Perry, including how he runs his business, how loyal he is, and even how his public image is based on his faith." We'll talk about the specifics of Cassie Davis's confession, the strange problems that stopped her from working on Perry's projects, how her words might affect Tyler Perry's legacy, and what people in the industry and fans are saying now that the truth is out. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear isn't just sad, it's also challenging, honest, and raw. This is where the story changes. While Meta was still a little-known character and Tyler Perry was still a billionaire, there was a small group of actors who stuck with his idea even when no one else did. Cassie Davis was one of them. She was an actor with a gospel heart, great comedic timing, and an undeniable stage presence. As a child, Cassie worked with Tyler Perry on stage plays for the first time in the early 2000s. She wasn't well known yet, but Tyler saw something in her that other people didn't. Her ability to mix fun with honest feelings made her a big hit right away, both with fans and in Perry's close-knit group of creative people. They made magic together. From Madeida's Family Reunion to Media Goes to Jail, House of Pain, Meet the Browns, and more, Cassie Davis became an important part of Tyler Perry's world. Fans loved her sassy voice, soulful eyes, and the rare honesty she brought to every role. She was beautiful and strong, whether she was Aunt Bam or Ella Payne. Many people don't know this, but Cassie and Tyler were more than just co-workers. They were deeply spiritually linked. Tyler has said in many interviews that he surrounded himself with religious people who could pray for him when things got tough, especially when he was in the beginning and Hollywood didn't understand him. Cassie was one of those people. People who knew her say she was Tyler's spiritual center. She would quote scriptures to him when he was having a hard time, lay hands on him before shows, and give him advice that he really relied on. She was like family, not just a co-star. For a while there were even rumors that the two might be dating, which they both rejected over and over again. Still, their friendship off-screen and on-screen chemistry made them one of the most admired black entertainment pairs. But you can test even the strongest ties. In Chapter 2 we look into what happened when Cassie Davis mysteriously disappeared from Perry's productions, why no one, not even her biggest fans, saw it coming, and the reports that it was because of a fight. Cassie Davis was everywhere one day. One minute she was on reruns of House of Pain, Tyler Perry shows, BET specials, red carpet events, and the next she wasn't there. There was no official statement or press release, there was only silence. And for fans who were used to seeing her in almost all Tyler Perry movies, the silence was unbearable. Cassie Davis wasn't involved in any of Tyler's big projects for almost 4 years. The farewell play tour by Media. No Cassie, there will be a new House of Pain. She didn't show up to important advertising events, sister shows, or Tyler Perry's The Oval, not even an appearance. Fans could only guess. Some said it was health problems. Cassie had already said that she was dealing with Bell's palsy, an illness that made her facial muscles look different. Others talked quietly about what might happen behind the scenes. There could be creative differences or, even worse, a betrayal of trust. What made things even stranger, though, Tyler Perry never talked about her absence in public. At that point, conspiracy ideas started to spread. Was Cassie pushed out? Did she leave because of a money problem? Or was it something more serious, like a battle between faith and fame? Some people even said that Cassie didn't like how Tyler's productions were changing, with riskier plots, more intense drama, and what she thought was a shift away from the original goal. In an interview from 2018, Cassie hinted that she was going through a spiritual season of separation. One blogger wrote, "Cassie was always about God first. Maybe she felt the work no longer reflected the heart of who she was. At the time, most people thought she meant taking time off for health or family reasons. But now that we know more, fans think she may have been talking about how she and Tyler Perry were becoming less close. This is the part that no one saw coming. Several people who work at Tyler Perry Studios said that there were reports of a private argument between Tyler and Cassie about creative control, changes to the script, and what one person called boundaries being crossed. Still, no one was brave enough to talk about it directly. Not Cassie, not Tyler, and not even co-stars until now. The reason Cassie finally admitted in her latest podcast confession wasn't just because she was sick. She said that she and Tyler went through what she called a season of distance because of hurt feelings, confusion, and having to pick peace over performance. When she spoke, her voice cracked. "I really love that man, but we got lost. We both did, and then she stopped. Too long did I stay quiet. I almost broke when I tried to protect him." People were shocked by what happened. Fans heard from Cassie herself for the first time that something real, emotional, and painful had happened behind closed doors. Something bigger than show business, something that altered everything. The saddest thing was that she said she cried through whole shows of House of Pain because she knew the viewers didn't know the truth and was afraid they never would. What Tyler Perry and Cassie Davis did may not have been loud, messy, or public, but it was real, deep, and hasn't been talked about until now. When Cassie Davis sat down for that podcast interview that is now going viral, no one thought she would say something so deep. It wasn't a tour for the press. It wasn't a book that told everything. No one else was there besides Cassie. She was free to say what she really thought after years of keeping quiet. She took a deep breath and said this first. "Some people think that Tyler Perry and I worked together, but the truth is that I thought of him as a brother. And family can hurt you more than strangers sometimes." The mood was set right then. This wasn't going to be trash talk. This was about pain, betrayal, and letting go of something Cassie had kept hidden for too long. She went on. "There were times when I felt spiritually conflicted. I had to decide whether to speak out or keep quiet for the sake of his legacy, and I kept quiet for years." Cassie said the turning point came during production meetings for one of Tyler's more dramatic shows, which was said to be The Oval or Ruthless. Cassie, who has always been very vocal about her Christian religion, was worried about the sexuality, violence, and move away from the spiritual stories that Perry's earlier works were known for. "I told him, Tyler, this ain't what we started with. Where is the heart? Where is the health care?" Cassie says that her worries weren't taken seriously. "Cassie, this is business now," he told me. "I remember thinking, we used to do this to lift people up, not shock them." That was the start of what Cassie called a spiritual rift. She made it clear that she was never mad at Tyler. She was just heartbroken that someone she loved and believed in was slowly giving up the values that made their work so powerful in the first place. She said she prayed, fasted, and even thought about quietly leaving him, which is what she did. "People thought I disappeared because I was sick," she said. "Yes, I was getting better, but more than that, I was grieving. I was grieving a friendship, a brotherhood, a partnership I thought would last forever." And then she dropped the sentence that made the news. "It hurt, but I loved Tyler Perry through everything he became, even when it hurt." That one line shocked fans, and longtime viewers of House of Pain and media movies were moved to share their feelings on Twitter and YouTube. Some people praised Cassie for being brave to speak out, but one thing was clear: some people felt lied to and didn't know who to trust. Not only was this about show business, it was also about soul. Cassie didn't say bad things about Tyler or accuse him of anything wrong or illegal. What she said was even more painful. She told the emotional truth of someone who saw her friend slowly lose himself in the fame, money, and Hollywood machine. She ended her confession with grace. "I don't hate him, I pray for him every day. But I had to speak because keeping it inside was spiritually sick." It was a reminder that even in Black Hollywood, real friendships fall apart, real pain spreads, and real people suffer in silence for the sake of someone else's empire. As expected, the response to Cassie Davis's powerful confession was split down the middle. Was it all just business? Cassie speaks out. Faith over fame. Davis finally reveals the truth behind her disappearance. People who have known Cassie for a long time, people who go to church, and even some outspoken gospel celebrities expressed their support. "Cassie, thank you for telling the truth. It's about time someone did. We love Tyler, but we needed to hear this side too. She's not angry, she's brave." Some people compared her to Esther because she spoke out against powerful men in entertainment, which isn't easy for women, especially black women of faith. Others praised how she handled such a touchy subject with grace. She never insulted, accused, or slandered. She just told the truth in love, and that being honest struck a chord with many. Fans of Tyler Perry, on the other hand, were angry, rude, and cruel. Some said she betrayed them, while others said she wasn't thankful for all the chances he gave her. One comment that has gone viral said, "Tyler made you who you are. This is how you thank him." Surprisingly, many church leaders and gospel figures kept quiet because they didn't want to upset Tyler Perry, who still gives a lot of money to many church-related projects, charities, and faith-based shows. Cassie has always been very involved in the church, but some of the people she prayed, sang, and praised with for years have stopped talking to her. "Some of you only love truth when it's convenient," she wrote in an Instagram follow-up. The message was clear, but she didn't say names. The church that used to praise her for standing with Christ had now turned away from her because she dared to tell the truth to power. Meanwhile, people who work in the entertainment industry were split. Some privately agreed with Cassie that Tyler Perry's brand had changed a lot, but most stayed quiet. Because Tyler Perry is still one of the most powerful black voices in Hollywood, not many people were willing to risk their careers. Then there was a campaign of rumors, vague interviews, shady online comments, and even YouTubers who said Cassie had lost touch with reality. But Cassie stayed calm, strong, and spiritually grounded through it all. She didn't back down or go on more media tours. Instead, she posted a single Bible verse. Matthew 5:10 says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That one verse said it all. For her, this was never about drama. It was about truth, spiritual responsibility, and choosing healing over hiding. Cassie Davis was brave to speak from the heart, even though she knew it might cost her. Now that the dust has settled, fans have a bigger question. Why did Cassie, who is one of the most loyal, faithful, and honest voices in gospel entertainment, have to go through all this trouble to tell the truth? It was clear after hearing Cassie Davis's honest confession that the Tyler Perry empire would never be the same again. Tyler Perry built his brand on faith, forgiveness, family, and second chances, and Cassie Davis was a big part of that. Her roles in Family Reunion, House of Pain, and many plays didn't just make people laugh, she was at the center of those stories. But when someone like Cassie comes forward with honesty, vulnerability, and decades of loyalty, people start to listen differently. Not just because of what was said, but because of who said it. For starters, her confession has made everyone connected to Tyler Perry think. Perry himself hasn't said anything public about Cassie's interview yet, but people who work at Tyler Perry Studios say there's been a noticeable change in energy. Staff meetings are shorter, public relations are tighter, and tensions are rising between people who have worked together for a long time. You can feel it. Everyone is on edge, an unnamed crew member wrote on a blog. It sounds like people are also thinking about themselves, from the types of stories that are getting picked up to how cast members are treated behind the scenes. This is because, as Cassie made clear, success doesn't mean you don't have to speak out, and fame doesn't make the spiritual cost of silence go away. But maybe the most important thing that's happening is that more people are speaking out. Since Cassie's confession, at least 3 former Tyler Perry cast members have hinted at their own unspoken grievances. They haven't come forward publicly yet, but one actress posted something cryptically. "Sometimes healing starts when the first domino falls." Hugs to Cassie. Fans are also looking at Perry's work through a different lens. Online threads are breaking down how his recent work has changed, with some praising the brave storytelling, and others agreeing with Cassie that algorithms and network demands have taken the place of the anointing. Even the church community, which at first didn't want to react, is slowly starting to do so. Some preachers have talked about Cassie's bravery in their sermons, bringing attention to the need for honesty and leadership in all fields, even entertainment. Cassie, on the other hand, has stayed grounded. She hasn't tried to get more fame or attention. Instead, she's gone back to what she calls her first calling. She mentors young women in entertainment, works in ministry, and puts peace above performance. "I didn't speak out to destroy anyone," she told a small faith podcast recently. "I spoke out to free myself and hopefully to help someone else know it's okay to speak the truth, even if it shakes the room." What does this all mean for Tyler Perry? It depends on how or if he responds, because a confession like Cassie's is like making a statement. And for fans who grew up believing in the media message, who looked to Perry's work for faith-based comfort, and who saw Cassie and Tyler as the perfect example of creative unity, the reckoning is real. We can still make things right, but it starts with honesty, which Cassie gave the world even though it hurt. Now it's your turn. Do you think Cassie Davis did the right thing by telling the truth? Should Tyler Perry say something in public, or does his silence say more? What does this moment say about how we treat loyalty, truth, and faith in the entertainment industry? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to keep the talk going. Cassie Davis taught us one thing: your voice can be the key that unlocks a door for someone else.